for joining me live from the grooming table. I am certified professional pet groomer Amy Lee, and it is absolutely my pleasure to share with you the secrets of the pet grooming industry so you can provide quality care for your beloved pets at home. And that is what we do right here every Monday, live from the grooming table at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, except for last Monday because it was a holiday and I missed you guys so much. I'm so glad to be back here in front of you. And that's why I couldn't wait to bring this topic to you, because I thought, I haven't seen my friends in 2 weeks. What should we talk about? What's really going to make them be glad that we got together on this Monday? So here we are. We are talking about how to trim your dog with shears the right way. I am so excited about this one, guys. I've got shears here. We're going to talk. We're going to demo. We're going to do all kinds of stuff to help you guys groom your pets at home. With so many people grooming their dogs at home and finding great enjoyment in it these days, one of the goals right here on my YouTube channel is to bring a new voice to the pet grooming industry. And that is one that includes pet owners, you as valuable consumers, and not just pet groomers. Pet owners are also valuable consumers. Where do you get your shears? Why should you buy your shears from Guibe, from Kenchi, from Fresh? Why should you? We're going to talk about that. But today's topic really is going to show you a lot of techniques that you're probably struggling with. And everybody does. But what I want you to know is it's not as hard as you think. It's just a matter of doing it the right way. So in this demo tonight, I'm going to show you specific scissor techniques with a straight shear, with blending shears, as well as with chunker shears. So these are the shears of my choice, really. I could pretty much groom any dog any day with these 3 shears. And I talk about that all the time with you guys. So I'm going to show you how that works and what coat types. That is a big question people have. So some of the things that we're going to focus on here tonight as far as topics and techniques are going to be how to hold your grooming shear. And it's very important that you're holding it right. Why I recommend an 8-inch straight shear. This seems big, doesn't it? Scary. It's not. There's a reason why I recommend an 8-inch shear instead of a 7-inch or a 6-inch. I'm going to tell you that tonight, and I'm going to show you how to get the most out of your 8-inch shear, because I think that's the only straight shear you're really going to need. We're also going to talk about scissor over comb technique. You guys know I use that a lot, so I'm going to show you. That's part of our demo, and I can't wait. And we're going to also talk about thinning and blending, how to produce flawless blending work. That's one of the things that I enjoy most about grooming is my scissor finishing work. And it's not because I'm fantastic at scissoring. I can do an awesome job. I know I can, but I'm certainly not the best. But if I didn't have good shears and know how to use them, I wouldn't be producing the work that I produce on a daily basis. So I can't wait to share these secrets. That's what I do, guys, so you can have the same quality on your grooms at home. So we're also going to talk about how to trim the pads of feet using a clipper to eliminate excessive scissor work in this dangerous area of feet, pads of feet. So the pads of the feet can easily be nicked with our shears. So I always do as much work from the underneath with a 10 or a 15 blade. Sometimes I use a 30, but I always tell you guys to use a 10 or 13 because it's quite safe. It's going to eliminate the possibility of you accidentally nicking your dog with a shear. The pads of the feet have a lot of blood flow to them, a lot. So the slightest little paper cut can really bleed on you guys. And it's not the end of the world for your dog. It could be very bad, but a little nick can be bad. It can be scary. So before we go over a few things, I'm going to demonstrate visually with you before I throw on the demo that I put together for you guys that's going to bring it all together. I'm going to demonstrate some techniques and some differences in the shears and how to hold them and stuff like that. Before I do that, I want to shout out something I'm very happy to announce. Channel members, calling all channel members, finally Go Groomer is going to hook you up. I haven't seen you guys. I haven't been in front of you guys specifically in probably 6 weeks. Bad Go Groomer. It's not because I didn't want to. It's because I'm not going to hurry up and put something together that is going to waste your time. But I'm calling all channel members to let you know that I scheduled a Zoom session this Friday at 12 noon. That's around lunchtime, Eastern Standard Time. That's my time. And the reason I picked the middle of the day is so that some of our channel members that are in different time zones, they will get a chance to attend. I want everybody to be able to attend these member meetings. And don't forget, guys, if you are a member and you can't attend one of our Zoom sessions, I do put it up on the replay for members only. So you would get the link, only the members would. But obviously, it's pretty cool when we can all be face-to-face. And literally, we're face-to-face because it's Zoom. I can see you, you can see me, we can talk to each other, we can express areas of struggle, whatever we need to do. It is such a cool thing. So I can't wait to see my channel members this Friday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. So keep your eyes posted for an email. You're going to get notified that the link is there and how to get in. Also, I will post it on my community tab, and it will only be visible for channel members. If you're not sure how to be a channel member, it's by clicking the join button on your desktop computer. If you're on Go Groomer and you're watching one of my videos, you'll see a join button right beside the subscribe button. The join button lets you become a channel member. It is $4.99 a month, and I really try to give a lot of my specific time to my channel members with their specific needs. So it's pretty cool. Also, sometimes we give pretty big giveaways when we hit milestones. Like we're approaching 100,000 subscribers, which means I am going to be giving away some big to-dos when we hit 100,000 subscribers. We're now at 73,000. I'm impressed. 73,000 of us. We're 73,000 strong. That's huge. I can't believe it. So anyway, it just blows my mind. Now let's get to it. Let's talk about what y'all came here for. You know I love you. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. We're coming from all over the world, all different time zones, and you guys do your best to come here and hang out and just be better together. That's what we do. So let's talk about how do you hold your grooming shears? This is a question everybody has, so don't feel silly if it's one of your questions. I want to say, first of all, okay, this is a chunker shear. This is a Kinchy shear. A lot of Kinchy shears, but not all, have this natural little cutout. Boy, do I love that. You'll find this on the Love series, which is what this chunker is. This is the Love series. Here, you guys can see it there, right? Yeah. This is Kinchy's Love series. They have, I think, 4 shears in that set. And all of the scissors in the Love Shear series has this little cutout, which naturally sets your first and second finger where they should be. And it's so comfortable. That's one of the reasons why I love the Love series. That's probably one of the reasons why it's one of their best sellers. But it's a great shear, and it's affordable. So here's what you do, guys. We've got our thumb rest, and we've got our finger rest. This is a pinky rest, and it serves a purpose, so pay attention. So when we put our thumb in our shears, you certainly don't want your thumb to be like this. You are just barely setting your thumb, resting the tip of your thumb in your shear like this. Then you take your ring finger. So it's your thumb and your ring finger is what provides the action of your shear, okay? Always. You use your thumb and your ring finger. Your first finger and your middle finger are just there for support, as well as your pinky. It helps balance your shears, okay? So we have our thumb in here. We gently put our ring finger in. As you can see, I'm just resting it. In fact, my ring finger is literally just resting there. Because naturally when I have my thumb and my ring finger in my shears, my first finger naturally wants to fall where it should, which is right under the shank of your shear. This is going to support your shear, help balance it. And your middle finger naturally wants to fall right into place. But what I like about this shear is it has this cutout. It's hard for me to show you that and get my fingers out of the way. You see that cutout right there? Yeah. It just naturally almost fail-proofs you to hold your shears correctly. Then the pinky rest is very important too, because that just, your little pinky just rests there. I love shears that have a pinky rest. Not all of them have a pinky rest, which is what this is. And it just, and this is why Kenchi rocks. It just makes you naturally hold the shear properly. So here I am holding my shear. Now, when we were learning how to use scissors in kindergarten and school and stuff and cutting paper or craft stuff, we kind of chew, you know, we were told to like chew on that like this. That's not what you do with pet grooming shears. With pet grooming shears, we're really only moving our thumb, and we are so light-handed. Everything under here, all these fingers are just supporting. That's it. The shear, if you have picked a shear that it is right for you and is a well-made shear, it is naturally going to set you up for success in the way that you're holding it. So that is the proper way to hold your shears, and your thumb is what provides the action, which moves the bottom blade only. The thumb only moves the bottom blade. And you want the top blade and all of your fingers, including your pinky, to be supporting the cause. See that? You don't try to control your shears with your wrist. You don't bend your wrist like this. You keep your wrist straight and you keep your arm straight and you move it like this. It's very robotic, but that gives you a lot of strength. It also won't tire your wrist. If you're moving your wrist to scissor, you're asking for carpal tunnel. That is an improper way to use your shears. So you definitely want to keep your wrist still, and your arm and your wrist are kind of one motion. I always tell you guys, it's like your arm's in a cast. Just figure your arm and your wrist are in a cast. The only thing that's moving is basically your shoulder, your whole body. I'm not even moving my shoulder. I'm moving and leaning into it when I'm scissoring. I'm leaning in and keeping this basically in a cast. And it will protect your arm, your wrist. And scissoring dogs doesn't bother me at all because I'm doing it right. If you don't, you're going to hurt yourself. So, and you won't be able to. It also compromises your work because you're overcompensating. And now your shear is not balanced in your hand if you're not properly holding it. So you definitely don't want to come in. You're not scissoring in a chunking act. Like you're not trying to cut like we cut paper. You're just letting the shear, it's such a light touch. I guess that's how I want to explain it to you. You're not trying to control and move the shears like this. You're trying to move the shears like this. Okay? Not like this. You have no control if you do that. It's with the thumb. Okay? So it's like this. It's a very light, controlled movement. It's not like this. That's way too much movement, too much room for error. So hopefully that helps you. Now the next thing I wanted to tell you guys is I'm always saying that I like to use 8-inch shears. And some people are like, well, if I'm a beginner, should I be using an 8-inch? This is the Kenchi Shinobi. I really like this one. Yes, I started with an 8-inch shear. When I started, that's what I was recommended to start with, and I'm glad I did, and I'm going to tell you why. Because when you use an 8-inch shear, you have a lot of area to cover. If you are doing scissoring legs or scissoring a larger dog or poodle, you have all this coverage. Versus if it's a 6-inch shear, you're going to be taking many more chomps and much more movement, which is giving you the opportunity to leave marks or scissor marks in the coat because you're scissoring so much more. This is covering more ground. If it's a well-balanced, well-made shear, it's not a big deal that it's an 8-inch shear. And you say, well, that's a big shear. It is. So oftentimes I'm only using this much of my shear. How do I control that? Well, when I open and close it, I'm only opening and closing it that much. So if I'm trimming around the foot of a dog, I'm just barely moving my thumb, and I'm just controlling how much of the shear is near the dog, and it's just the tip of it like this. So I am much less likely to nick the dog, and I also have a lot of control over those areas, like around the feet, around the ears on a Schnauzer or Cocker Spaniel, anything that we're outlining the ears, outlining around the feet. If you're coming in there and taking big bites and cutting here in the middle of your blade, well, then this part of your blade can actually catch other things. So often think about just using the last quarter of your shear, which also means that you really only have to open up, you're barely moving your thumb. See that? It gives you so much control. So I do recommend an 8-inch shear, guys. You know I do. And there are reasons, and that's why, because it gives you much more opportunity to do a full groom instead of having to use a 6-inch shear and a 7-inch shear on the legs and an 8-inch. It's just too much. You don't need to. Just learn how to control how much of your shear you're using by how far you open your thumb. If I open my thumb this much, I'm using a lot of that shear. I don't want to use this part of the shear. I don't need to, unless I'm scissoring like the leg of a standard poodle. So if I'm just scissoring a small dog, I'm only going to open my shear this much. Okay? It's great. And then you have all that real estate in your shear. Another one of my favorite shears to have is a blending shear. And you'll see that blending shears, they definitely produce a blending action. This particular one has serrated edges on each tooth. So it's very aggressive, but it also produces a very soft look. So I'm going to be showing you in the demo how I use these 3 shears to pretty much accomplish all type of scissor work on any dog breed. And sometimes I will use all 3 of these shears on one breed. And even if it's a scissor coat, poodle, Bichon, I often will still use all 3 of these shears in different areas. So I will be showing you that. But blending shears, what I want you to focus on before I throw the demo on there is when I use blending shears, I typically use them slightly different than I would if I'm using a straight shear. If I'm using a straight shear, I'm kind of outlining the leg and the shape. I'm outlining. When I use blending shears, I kind of pull and drag. You can actually thin the coat with blending shears like that. So you just get the hair, and I'm going to show you in the demo, pull and drag, and it just blends it, softens it right down to the end. It's really a neat technique. So thinning and blending, that is how I produce flawless blending work. And I do show you how to do that in this demo, and I'm excited to give that to you guys because I think the visual is what's going to pull it all together. I just wanted to talk about some of these specific techniques before you watched it so you can clearly see, oh, that's what she's talking about. Yeah. Okay, so we're also going to see scissor over comb. I use that as a wonderful blending technique on many breeds. And we're going to show you that on a Westie in this demo. So I think we are good. One thing I did want to tell you guys, sometimes we do need finger inserts. I'm sorry, they're called finger inserts. You can get them. Kenchi has all kinds of them. Groomer's Choice has them. All of our favorite places. Let me throw it up there. Where do you get your tools, guys? All these places. Pet Edge, Groomer's Choice, Love Groomers, Chewy.com, Ryan's Pet Supplies. They all supply us with the best prices, the best customer service, and they're constantly restocking all the products that I use and all other groomers use every day. So these are the places. They are linked in the description below. If you do need to get the same quality grooming products that you will hear me talking about and that other groomers use, they are available to you too. And those are the distributors that I prefer you go to. Occasionally we can get stuff on Amazon, but oftentimes the prices aren't right on Amazon. So that's why I say let's go to our trusted sources. I'm not affiliated with them sources. You just go there and you know that you're getting good stuff, good quality equipment, and good customer service. Somebody who believes in the pet grooming industry. So sometimes you'll need finger rest. Because you don't want your thumb sliding all the way through, you'll lose control of your shears. So if you have larger fingers, you may find you don't need finger inserts, but you can get them at all those places. And at Kenchi.com, Kenchi's a shear manufacturer. Obviously, they have anything you need when it comes to shears. So let's go ahead and watch this demo together, and that's going to give us something to get chatty about when we get back into the chat. So I'm excited. Get your questions ready, guys. If you have a question, press and hold the dash button in front of you and then type your question. That'll show me that there's a question. When I see a long line like that, then I can see that you have a question. And if you need me to demonstrate something with my shears afterwards, I got the shears sitting right here ready to go. So get your questions ready. Let's demo down. Now the first coat type that we are going to talk about how to trim your dog with shears the right way is going to be our medium coated dogs, which is like a golden retriever, or we're going to be taking a look at an English setter. These dogs, typically you can identify them as often being double coated breeds, as well as the hair on their legs and the back of their legs does not grow the same as the hair on their body. The hair on their body usually grows to about 2 to 4 inches and it stops, and the hair on the legs often will have what we call furnishings, but that's it. So let's start with Jake, the English setter. The pads of the feet, I'm going to trim the pads of Jake's feet. I have my Kenchi flash set to a 40 blade, and I'm going to turn that on. And I'm just kind of grazing right here. I'm cheating a little bit with my Kenchi flash. I'm eliminating a lot of the scissor work around the outside of the paw. We want to do as much trimming in the paw pads with a clipper as possible because it's much safer than coming in here with a shear. Now I'm going to come in this pad in a V shape right here in the large pad. Don't forget there's a tendon right here, so we want to avoid that by using our clipping in a V shape action, okay? And there's one pretty little pad right there. We'll be trimming up his feet. So the same thing on the front pad. Let's just hold everything down. Anything that is falling beyond his pad, I'm going to clip off with my Kenchi flash. Good job, buddy. It's time to tidy up Jake's feet. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my comb and I'm just going to pull that up. I'm going to take a chunker shear. This is the Kenchi Love Chunker. And I'm just scissoring off with my chunker shear. That's it. I'm going to pick the foot up and I'm going to comb down everything and just tidy up anything I missed with my Kenchi flash that is sticking out over the bottom of his foot. So coming around to the front of the foot, brush everything up like this. I'm going to take my chunker shear and just get rid of it. I'm scissoring with my chunker. See that, guys? The same way I would if I was using a straight shear. You can use a straight shear. I just love how natural our blending shears and our chunker shears look when we choose to do that on a foot like this, which is kind of a natural foot, you know? So, I think that looks good. Good job, buddy. Now this here, see all this fuzz? Comb it up, and I'm going to take my Jonathan David lightning shear blender, and I'm just going to blend it off like it never even existed. When you blend, you move. You trim, move, trim, move, trim, move. Actually, you trim, pull, move, trim, pull, move, if that makes sense. And then that gives us a nice little result right there. Front leg. Just comb everything up. I'm going to take my Jonathan David blender. It's not as aggressive as the chunker. And I'm dragging and pulling, kind of. Dragging and pulling down a little bit. Just thin that out. Now we're going to let him put his foot down. And now I'm going to drag and pull in the direction that the coat lays. It just thinned it out a little bit, that's all. Now holding that foot out, I'm going to take my chunker shear, be aware of this knuckle right here, and I'm just going to kind of get rid of everything up to that knuckle. This is going to keep the bottoms of his feet nice and clean when he's out running and having a good time. Good job. Jake's a good boy. Yeah, so now you see how that looks? And now we're going to pull this foot up. We're going to take our straight shear and trim off anything that may be hanging over what we didn't get with our Kenchi flash on the underside of his foot. And now looking at the front of his foot, you can take a straight shear. I'm going to show you. I'm going to just scissor this off with my straight shear. It's fine to use a straight shear. It's all right, Tex, just relax. Use your brush constantly to pull the hair up. There we go. And that's good. So the more you just gently brush the hair up, the more you're going to see that the hair's going to pop up between his toes. So give it about 3 goes. Then I will take my Jonathan David lightning shear and I'll just tidy up anything there so it really looks natural, like it just kind of grew this way, you know. Let's take a look at this in slow motion. I want to explain this to you guys. So you'll see me grab the coat and drag and pull out. Then I move to another area, clip onto the coat, drag it, pull out. You want to constantly move your shear and not sit here and thin in the same spot, or then you will get a hole in the coat. So you want to get a hold of it, drag it, pull it, and move onto the next little area right beside. And you're just creating such a smooth finish. I mean, it's really the secret to these pretty feet, guys, especially on our medium-coated dogs. And there's his foot. So we have a beautiful front foot. We have a beautiful back foot. What are we going to do with this ear? We vented it, but now we got to trim it. It's a little bit woolly. This is a lot, you know? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the ear back and I'm going to comb everything up and out on this cheek. And in this direction, I'm going to just take it off with my chunker shear. Scissoring off the hair with my chunker. See, that was quite a bit of hair. Now we've taken off everything underneath. Actually, we could do a little bit better. It's all right, bud. There we go. It looks good. Nice and flush. These chunkers are aggressive. They take a lot of hair, which saves you time, and it looks great. Okay, so now we lay the ear flat. We've trimmed that. Now I'm going to use more of a blending shear. This is the Jonathan David. And I'm just going to kind of, look how I'm moving the ear. And I'm holding it taut so that it's straightened out, not wrinkled up, that I'm going to catch skin. And I'm just letting the hair fall and move the way it's going to want to, and I'm kind of blending it straight down into his neck. We're just thinning it down a little, really, guys. That's it. You can hold it out, trim around the edges, bring this up, trim around the edges. Be very careful. Always know where your ear leather is. See, I have my fingers right at the ear leather, so I'm quite aware where it's at. All right, let's take a look. Looking good. Comb everything up a little bit. Let's just let the ear hang and let's gently just blend away some of that bulk. And that's looking pretty good. So take your time with this, because this is what really makes it look so polished and so natural. Hold the ear out, take a look if there's anything you can just scissor off. And now let's take a look at the difference between both ears. Good, Jake. This is the ear that we just trimmed. It's okay, bud. This is the ear that needs trimmed over here. See, looking at him head on. Here's the ear that needs trimmed. Good, Jake. Here's the one that we just trimmed. And you can see how that really tidies up his whole profile. Oh, you're such a good guy. Do a little scissor over comb to blend that together. Anything that is not looking good to me. The scissor over comb just holds the hair out and shows me where it's uneven, if that makes sense. It's okay, honey, don't be upset. Even some of my clipper work was a little shabby here. I can fix that with my scissor over the comb because the comb is protecting the skin, as you can see. And then it's just smoothing out those imperfections in my clipper work. All right, so now we're gonna do a foot. And you see, we're always combing, guys. Anything that is, I like nice pretty furnishings on my Westies. So you can see all this on top of his foot. We're just scissoring like a dome shape over top of his foot. It's kind of hard for me to do in this angle so you guys can see it on camera. Really need a film crew. Okay, so that's all I'm doing is doming over the top of his foot to match the length on his leg. Okay, just take your time. Good job, buddy. Now let's take a look at a scissor coat. A scissor coat is a poodle, a Bichon, a dog that we can easily lift the hair with a comb and scissor with our blending shears or with our straight shears, whichever we choose. But in this case, you'll see on a poodle coat, I am using a chunker shear, but I am using my chunker shear in a scissor action. So as if I was scissoring with a straight scissor, I'm using these chunker shears because it will just leave a blended look. It just makes it flawless. So you can scissor coats with blending shears if you are scissoring in a scissor manner, not a blending mode. What we do is we comb the coat up with our comb. We do this a lot, and then we scissor down. That's typically what I would do. So lifting the coat with your comb by getting all the way to the skin and lifting it straight up and out and scissoring down. That is the idea of scissoring with blending shears or with straight shears on a scissor coat. So this is not the coat type that we were talking about a minute ago. That coat is different. We would use a lot of blending techniques. You know how I was dragging and pulling my blending shear to just blend and thin at the same time. This is scissoring. Now we're scissoring. We comb up and we scissor down. And we do this over and over again until we get the flawless look that we're trying to achieve. It's a lot of fun to scissor dogs, but also I want you to think about your scissors as an extension of your fingers. Now, I showed you earlier before we started watching this clip how to properly hold your shears, and that way they're balanced in your hand. It gives you the most control of your shears while you are doing your scissor work. It's very important to practice how to hold your shears and that you are holding them correctly, or you'll be kind of working against yourself. But picture you're drawing an outline of this dog with your shears. So it's as if you were drawing this leg shape on paper, but we are just taking the hair off with our scissors. It's kind of the same concept. That's how I think about scissor work, is I'm trying to create a shape, comb up and scissor down, and I realize that what I'm scissoring off is what is just not supposed to be there. And sometimes that will be a lot of hair that I'll be scissoring off, and as I move down the leg, then there's not much at all that I'm scissoring off. It's just because I'm creating the shape with my scissor work. And remember, your thumb, your wrist, and your arm are what are controlling these shears, not your fingers. Your fingers just help you balance your shear. Now, the last technique I want to talk about is using just the tip of your shear to perform our fine detail work. Like when we're trimming around the edge of a dog's ears, our Cocker Spaniels, or our miniature Schnauzers, or our Westies. We're just using the tip of the shears. And that is something that I think a lot of people don't think about too often, is just using the tip of your shears so you have a lot of control in those tight, detailed areas where you want to be very sure of your scissor work. Often I will also use just the tip of my shear when I'm going around the foot on a dog to make sure that I am very precise in what I am clipping, because I don't want to hurt the dog. I don't want to injure the dog. So first I want to shout out, we have a couple new channel members, Katie and Lovely. Thank you. I am so glad to connect with you. It's going to be worth it. So also C4 says starting a new grooming job tomorrow, a new position, and got a new Kenji flash. So you can't go wrong with that one. Congratulations. I can't wait to hear more. We are here together. We help each other. So anytime you run into problems or questions, just stay involved with this community. Stay involved with the Facebook group, the Go Groomer private Facebook group. There's a link to that on my channel page on YouTube. Everybody is so wonderful in there and so helpful. And there's groomers, there's pet owner groomers, there's breeders, there's all kinds of people in there that offer great information. And I'm in there too, just not as much as I wish I could be. But anyway, it's very helpful. So congratulations. Now I want to jump in here and, hold on, turn that down. I'm going to answer some of these questions. I pulled them out separately so that I would be able to address you guys all individually. Katie Marie says, I just found out about the pet grooming conference in Atlanta. That's a good one. At the end of this month. Is that a good conference to go to for somebody who wants to open their own business? Absolutely, Katie. All the pet grooming expos are wonderful. There's several of them here in the States all over, and you can find that on Barkley.com on their website. There's a listing of all the different events throughout the U.S. throughout the different months of the year. Yes, it's a wonderful conference. Definitely go there. You will learn so much. There's so many free demos there too, guys, if you can't take the seminars or if you don't have the money to attend these seminars. They're very beneficial if you can. But they do a lot of free demoing at like the Wall booth and the Andis booth and an Oster booth and scissor booths. You know, Kenji sometimes has free demoing too, how to use their shears. They have somebody there showing you, you know, how to, and answering your questions. It's really nice. So there's always so much to learn. One other thing that I like about going to any expo, any trade show for grooming, Katie, is that you can pick up and hold the shears and the products and the equipment and figure out if it truly is a good fit for you. So that alone is worth going right there. Now, aside from all the free little tips and tricks that you're going to get by watching the free demos, by meeting other groomers, making connections with other people that are probably going to become lifelong friends, and making those relationships, because everybody there is like-minded. You know, we're pet groomers. This is what we do. They're wonderful. Pet groomers are wonderful people to connect with, because grooming is an art, and we love to share that experience with other people that do what we do. So it's not like you can walk into a supermarket or you're standing in line at the bank, and how often are you standing beside another pet groomer that you can connect with? You know, it's just few and far between. So it's nice to build those relationships. All those wonderful things can come from attending these trade shows. So I suggest everybody attend the trade shows for so many reasons. And they're not just for pet groomers. You know, if you're a home groomer grooming your own pet, and you want to go and you want to check out some Kenji shears, or you want to talk to Sammy from Kenji, do it, because he's there representing his company, because he believes in his products, and he'll tell you everything you need to know. He'll help you find the right shear for you. I mean, it's wonderful, guys. I can't. The energy and the value that I get from going to the trade shows, it's just, I'm so thankful for them. And I'm so glad that we can have them again. They're opened up. So yes, Katie Marie, you go to as many as you can. All right, and Pam Reeder says, do you think that it's a good idea to have many clippers for the beginner to do the face and the paws? Any of our trimmers, like the Mini Wall Bravara, the Mini Arco. Mini means it is not an adjustable blade. It is specifically only a 30 blade. A 30 blade is only safe for pet groomers to use in the pads of feet. Pet groomers would never use a 30 blade to shave a poodle face. Show groomers do because they've conditioned the dog's skin to be able to tolerate that. They didn't just start with a 30 blade. They started with a 10 blade, and then they took it to a 15 blade, and then they went to a 30. So you have to toughen up the dog's skin because they will be very irritated if they're not used to that close of a clip. So Pam, my answer to mini clippers are only for pads of feet. That's it. Okay? Just remember that. That was a good question, and I know other people are going to benefit from that. Carrie Madden, good to see you too. She says, hi Amy, what is the name of the insurance carrier that you use again for pet grooming insurance? Great question. A lot of people probably have the same question. I use Gibson Governor, which is a traveler's insurance, as it's called, Traveler's Insurance. Is that the name of it? Anyway, Gibson Governor. And you can find them if you go to Barkley.com. Barkley has an online version of Groomer to Groomer magazine. If you're subscribed to that, it's free. Groomer to Groomer magazine is very helpful, and it has some wonderful articles in it too that everybody would enjoy reading. So in Groomer to Groomer magazine, they always have an ad for Gibson Governor, and everything you need to know, the phone number, your contact information for Gibson Governor is there. Also, just Google search Gibson Governor Pet Grooming Insurance, and they're the ones. They specialize in that. So don't forget, pet groomers, your policy, your insurance policy, grooming policy, follows you wherever you groom. So if I go groom with Shaggy Chic for a day, my insurance policy covers me in their shop too to groom. So it goes with you. So if you're a house call groomer, your policy goes wherever you go. If you're a mobile groomer, your policy goes wherever you go. So good to know, right? All right, Carrie. So that makes me think that Carrie's starting to really get busy grooming these dogs, because I know Carrie's a nurse, if I'm correct. So Janelle, I see you'll have some questions. I can't wait. First of all, I wanted to see, Janelle, which one you bought. If you bought the Kenchi Love Chunker Shear. Janelle's question is, I purchased a Kenchi Chunker Shear, but I am sure I bought one with too many teeth. You said yours is a 24, correct? No, mine has 17 teeth. 17. This is an 8-inch, if I'm correct, or 7. Shoot, I don't know. It's on the website. It's on Kenchi's website. But this is the Kenchi Love Series Chunker. And this is not a 24, it's a 17 tooth chunker. If yours is a 24, Janelle, then that has more teeth than my 17 tooth. And what that means is it will take less hair. But 24 teeth is still pretty aggressive in my opinion, unless it's a very small shear. So if it's a if it's a 5-inch shear with 24 teeth, it's going to take a lot less. If it's an 8-inch shear or a 7-inch shear with 24 teeth, it's going to take more hair because the distance between the teeth is larger on the larger shear. So I think you did buy the Kenchi Love, if I would be correct, Janelle. I didn't know that they made a 24-tooth Kenchi Love. I'm not sure. Now I'm confused. But yes, the 24 teeth will take less than the 17. But here's what I'm saying, Janelle's. 24 teeth, if it's like a 7-inch or 8-inch shear, that's still going to take a lot of coat. So I think you're good with it. I'm not sure. Let me just see here. Let me jump in the chat. I was wondering which one you got, Janelle. Just let me look. Okay. Oh, look. You guys are thumbsing it up. And there's a lot of people watching. I'm so excited. That means we're bringing in some good value here. C4, welcome to the Hounds. I'm so glad to see you just joined. I hope that we can help you with anything you want. All right. Okay. So on to my questions. I can't find what I was looking for. I was looking for Janelle. I don't know if you got the Love series or which one you got. Okay. So back to the questions. Sorry, Janelle. I'll get you. I'll help you. Somehow I'll help you. I just got to know which shear you got. But maybe my explanation did help. If it's 24 teeth, it's a 7-inch shear. That's still pretty aggressive. So Karen says, Can a chunker do the same as a blender? It's a good question. This is a chunker. This is a blender. You can see, let me get this over so I can see too. You can see that this is a much more aggressive shear. This is going to take a lot more coat than, oh my gosh, this is messing with me. Okay, than our blending shear. Blending shears really, you saw me using it in the demo, how I pull and drag and just thin down. I'll do that on the cheeks of dogs too, pull and drag out. I just love blending shears for that. I also love blending shears to outline the face after I've used my straight shear to set the shape of the face. Then I'll go around that whole edge with my blending shear and just soften it. It looks so natural. But your question was, do chunkers do the same as blenders? Chunkers take more coat. So they are still considered a blending shear. They're just an aggressive blending shear, as you can see the difference. So the more teeth your blending shear has, the less coat it will take. Unless it's, like if this is a 46 tooth blending shear. And this here particular one is the Jonathan David Lightning. Okay, this is an 8-inch shear. So it's 8 inches from here to here. It has 46 or 48 teeth, I can't remember. 46, I think. If it were a 6-inch shear and it had 46 teeth, it would take even less coat. Does that make sense? The more teeth and the smaller the shear, the less coat it's going to take, because this is compressed into a smaller area now, so these teeth now have to get closer together. Obviously on our chunkers, our teeth are not very close together. They're going to take a lot of coat. So that's the difference between the chunker and the blenders. They both are blending shears. The chunker takes a lot of coat. It's aggressive. So it's great for your heavier coats. Even your poodle-y coats, you know, I use my chunker a lot to scissor. You saw I was using it on Big Gus, who has a poodle coat. It's very nice. However, if you're using that on a real silky coat that's not quite so heavy and thick, it would easily leave marks and you would not like it. Like say on a Yorkie, you wouldn't like it. You would see the pattern of it. This is more of a blending shear that will just blend those soft areas and make it look natural. So hopefully, Karen, that helped you. Robin says, can you tell me what size the finger inserts are? Hold on a second. And what should you purchase? The finger inserts come as either thumb inserts or finger inserts. The thumb inserts are bigger than the finger inserts because the finger rest on your shear is smaller than your thumb rest typically. And most of your shears are made with the same size thumb rest, thumb hole, and finger hole. It's just if you have small hands, you're going to need those inserts to keep your fingers from falling through your shears, which you're going to lose control of your shear. I typically don't use an insert in my finger insert because this finger, this is so hard for me to show you. This finger is really just resting there. I am not using this finger when I scissor. I'm just helping to balance my shear. That's all I'm doing with my ring finger. That's all I'm doing. It's just helping to balance my shear. So I don't mind a little play in that finger insert because it's just helping me balance my shear. So hopefully that helps you, Robin, to explain that. Ashley Hoot says, do you use 9-inch shears much, or is it worth purchasing? You know, like the shoulders of a poodle coming down the rear, setting the rear on poodles and stuff like that. I have 9-inch, I have 10-inch shears. I have a lot of shears. I often find with my larger shears, my 9 and my 10-inch shears, well, yeah, they're great for scissoring a larger dog. So like a Portuguese water dog that we're scissoring, or a Russian Terrier, or standard poodle. You're going to love having all that real estate of a shear because it's all the less chomping you have to do with your shears. But what I don't like about the 9 and the 10-inch shears is it feels it's hard to find one that doesn't feel heavy. So if you're only going to use it in like coming in the chest of your poodle, coming down the side of the arm on your poodle, the shoulder, setting the rear angulation on your dogs, a large dog. They're really for large dogs because it covers more ground. But the only thing I don't like about them is that they feel heavy. Now, if you get like a level 3 shear or level 4 shear, which is the metal and the lightness and the hardness of the metal, you would find, yeah, it's probably pretty amazing. But now you're spending about $500-600 on a pair of shears or more. So I just couldn't justify that and as a groomer to only use it every now and then. If I groomed a ton of standard poodles or scissored in the rears of a lot of Samoyeds or whatever, these big dogs, then maybe I would say, yeah, it's worth buying a good set. But you'll have to buy a good, well-balanced shear if it's a 10 or a 9-inch, because otherwise it's going to feel too heavy to you, and you're not going to care for it much. That's just my opinion. But that's a great question, and I'm glad that you asked it because I'm sure other people want to know the same thing, Ashley. So thank you. Karen says, around the eyes, what would you use? So she's saying, would you use your 8-inch around the eyes to trim? You know, she has a little Maltese. I do, but if you're not comfortable with that, I want to tell you that Kenshi on their website, they have a whole set of products for pet groomers, or home groomers. They're called pet grooming tools. I don't know. Anyway, they have ball tip scissors on there that are very inexpensive, like $25-30, that are really nice and comfortable to get it to tidy up around those delicate areas on those small little dog faces, you know. So you may enjoy having a pair of their ball tip shears for this little fine detail work, just to protect you and give you that little bit of confidence that you have that ball tip on there and you feel better about it. So that's an option for you. You can buy, and I think they're $25. I mean, it's really reasonable. And that might give you the little bit of assurance that I'm using a smaller shear in this area that I'm nervous to trim in. So it may make you feel better about trimming there. So yeah, you can definitely do that. I do use my 8-inch for everything. But that's just me. You don't have to do what I do. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to catch up with a couple more of these questions. I see they're still rolling in here. Rolling. Okay, just scooting up here. All right. Rebecca says, Amy, what is the difference between a chunker and a blender in your usage of these terms? Okay, number of teeth, and both blades. Okay, both your chunkers and your blenders have a straight edge like a regular shear. Both blenders and chunkers do. I just answered this a little bit ago. Basically, the only difference between your blenders and your chunkers is your blenders are going to produce a nice softer look. It's going to take you a little bit more scissoring to get there. But remember, you don't have to scissor dogs like this. Sometimes we're just opening our shears this much to scissor. But your blenders are going to produce a soft finish. Chunkers are going to get you there faster. So if you had a heavy coat, a lot of coat, you're going to like your chunkers. Now, I use the chunkers a lot, so I can't tell you that one is more valuable than the other. And I really do love my blending shears. I just love them. It's like they're magic. I just love them. Okay, so hopefully that answered your question, Rebecca. Kaya Coca says, what product is good for dry pads? That's a good question. There's Tropiclean has a very nice, if you're washing your dog, they have a very nice paw treatment. It's kind of like, they call it their bubble bath, and it's a spa. It's in their spa line of products. It's by Tropiclean. And that one I use. I like it a lot. I have that in the shop. I use it on my dogs. I find that my dogs, now listen, your dogs will have rough feet. Don't mistake that as a bad thing. That's because they walk on the pads of their feet. If they had these soft, tender little feet pads because they were never outside walking around. They didn't build up like any callus. That's kind of what their pads are. They're like calloused. Then their feet would be easily injured. So you do want your dogs to have some callousing on their feet. But there's a difference between that and if they had a fungus or something on their foot. I've seen that. That's different. So, but there are products that can help moisturize those pads. Sometimes they can get quite dry and cracked. There's also a good product. I was just checking it out the other day. Was that by... One of the things I really like, well here, this is it. This you can get from Groomer's Choice. This is a wonderful product. It's called Skinworks. And it's just kind of a very smooth, silky lotion. I mean, I use it on me. Like if I cut myself, it's very thin and it rubs in very nicely. But it adds a lot of moisture and balance to the skin, but it's not gunky. That's what I like about it. It is also wonderful to use if some of your dogs are sensitive in areas of trimming, like around their privates. You might want to put a little bit of this on a cotton ball and rub it on that area after you give them their sanitary trim. This will calm that down. Some poodles get sensitive around the face when we trim it. Just rub some of this on there, rub it in, and it just calms it right down. And how do I know that? Every time I cut myself with one of my shears, I always apply this Skinworks to me. It really feels good. So that's a great product, and that would be great to use on the pads too. And it's an inexpensive, wonderful little product. You can get it from groomerschoice.com, and they're linked below. That's one of my favorite suppliers, guys. So hopefully that helps Kaya Coca. All right. Let's see here. Just looking here, I saw there was a couple more. Here we go. Okay, Miriam says, how can I help my miniature schnauzer who has dry skin? I use an oatmeal shampoo and I wash her once a month. Okay, so your mini schnauzer has dry skin. I'll tell you, believe it or not, one of the things that you may not be doing enough, Miriam, for your miniature schnauzer is brushing her. Brushing stimulates blood flow to the skin. It also encourages healthy regrowth to, dogs lose hair, even if they're not shedding breed. So by brushing your dog regularly, even if they don't look like they need brushed, it's very good for the skin and coat because it stimulates blood flow to the skin. It also pushes and releases and distributes their natural oils throughout their skin and coat, which creates a healthier, stronger skin and coat. So believe it or not, brushing. A lot of people look at a miniature schnauzer and they say, well, she doesn't need brushed, her hair is so short on her pattern or whatever. But it is just that stimulation of brushing, just like when we use loofahs, when we exfoliate our skin in the shower, it is sloughing off dead skin, which if she's dry and flaky, it's dead skin that needs to be sloughed off. And you can do that by just brushing your dog gently. Even if, schnauzer pattern is very short, but still just brushing gently down the pattern is just stimulating blood flow. It can really help encourage healthier skin and coat. So try that, Miriam. It's not just your products. Some people think, well, if I use a different shampoo, that will go away. Don't forget, you do need to brush them. Even if they are the shortest, they have the shortest little coat, it is because it stimulates blood flow to the skin and it increases blood flow, and it also distributes the oils throughout their coat. So they have healthier skin and coat. Carrie, what are you doing? I've been busy and missed you since April. Oh, Carrie, she just super chatted. Glad to see you, that you're still here, and congrats on little Gus. Thank you, Carrie. You are so getting saluted. That's for Carrie. You're welcome. Thanks for being here with us. I know you're all busy. That's for you, Carrie. You are wonderful. Thanks for saying that. Little Gus is doing good. We're working hard with him. We've come a long way with him. He's come a long way, but we're nowhere done. I don't think we'll ever be done. Training your dog, we've learned so much. Training is something that never ends. You don't train your dog and say, okay, he's trained now, I don't have to, we're good. We have to continually work with our dogs to keep reassuring those commands and what we want from them. We're communicating with them through training what we want from them, and it makes them happier and healthier because they know what's expected and they don't have to guess. It takes away anxiety for your dog when they know what you want them to do. So yeah, Miriam, if you want an idea for a shampoo, I'm not big on oatmeal shampoos because if your dog does have a skin problem, oatmeal often feeds the problem, believe it or not. It can also soothe, but if it's more of a fungal problem, you know, like allergy, oatmeal can make it worse. So what I like to do, Miriam, is just go back to like a Bark to Basics makes what's called Clear Coat, which is a shampoo that is just fragrant free. It cleans wonderfully, but it just doesn't have the dyes, the perfumes, that anything that could irritate. Plus it has a little bit of nurturing contents in it, you know, to calm the skin and to help balance it out. I also don't have a problem going back to a puppy shampoo, like Tropiclean puppy shampoo. I love. Sometimes I use that on all kinds of dogs, older dogs, anything that's sensitive. I'll use puppy shampoo around the face if I don't have any Tropiclean Spa facial because it's gentle, very gentle, but it cleans well. So try that, Miriam. Karen says, grooming my Bichon clipping is not even in areas, so using chunkers. Kenchi, I love, help to smooth the thick coat. Hi from Motor City. Hello, Karen from Motor City. Good to see you. Yeah, using the Kenchi chunker shears to blend off unevenness, but you always got to use that comb. Always comb the coat up, and then you'll see all this uneven coat. You'll know what you'll have to blend off with your chunkers or your blending shear. But comb constantly, guys. Don't forget to use your comb. This is a tool that we cannot groom without. We're combing up the coat constantly as we're scissoring it. So don't forget to over comb and lift that coat so that you can see what you have to scissor off, Karen. So yes, absolutely, you can use a chunker to get to even that stuff out. Okay, Janelle says yes, but the teeth are much closer together. I bought the wrong teeth. So maybe the Kenchi Love does have a 24 tooth. I never realized that. I'm sorry. I know mine's the 17 tooth, but I would think it's okay, Janelle. I would like it if you could send me a picture through email. I just want to do a little research on it. I want to see if there's any advice I can give you, Janelle, on that, okay? So send me a picture of it when you get a chance, Janelle. Yeah, then I'll be able to give you some better input. Okay, Becky says, thank you. I have to fire it up after I can. Oh, okay, yes. We're talking about getting on your laptop, I think. Okay, so Holly says, did I skip anybody? Oh, wait, Karen. I got that. Which shear? Okay. Holly says, best shear for grooming newfies. Yeah, okay, definitely. I'm not a pro, just have 2 newfies. I'm trying to trim them. Okay, no problem. Your chunker shears you're going to love. That newfie coat's very thick, but I only trim newfies around the legs, the paws, the tops of the paws, sometimes around the back end. They can be really thick, but you would have to have that nice and clean and combed out and brushed before you could trim it. Blending shears are nice because, like I said, they're just flawless. It's going to take you a little more work with a blending shear than with an aggressive chunker like this 17 tooth Love by Kenchi. I think you would find more flawless work with a blending shear like a 8-inch 46, 48 tooth blending shear. I think you would find a prettier finish. I think you would like it. And also with newfies, I like to trim down some of this. Sometimes they can be really woolly there. So I think your blending shear is going to perform better than a chunker shear would in that area. I think a chunker shear has a little bit of learning curve to it. And I think you may be like, I don't like that. You know, so can't go wrong with a blending shear. So hopefully that helps you, Holly. Carrie says, did you decide on doing a class? Oh, yes, I am doing a class. Yes, I am. I heard you mention it a couple videos ago, but I missed if you decided to do one. I'd be very interested. Stay tuned, Carrie, absolutely. In fact, I'm off most of this week from pet grooming, and that was going to be my huge focal point, is my course, laying it out, outlining it. I can't wait to sit down and spend hours uninterrupted on that course, and especially on the outline. That's going to tell me exactly what footage I need to create. Some footage I may already have, and I just got to go dig it out in my archives. But the outline is so critical, and that is what I'm working on this week. I'm hoping, I'm going to say this, guys. It was itchy. I'm hoping to have that course launched in September. That's my goal. Okay, so it's not too far away. There's also going to be some other things launched in September. So they will just marry up nicely together. That's a little bit on the down low for now. So we'll talk about that later. But the course I'm planning to have launched in September. And the course is basically going to go into depth on pet trimming. You know, so the person trying to give their dog a haircut at home, how can they achieve this? How do they decide what they're going to do? You know, kind of all of my 200 and some videos lumped into one. It's going to really cater towards the very beginner, and it's going to talk real specifically about some things that are often skipped over quickly, like clipper blades. We're going to have a module on clipper blades, you know, and guard combs together. It's very important that you guys understand clipper blades and guard combs before you go to give your dog a haircut. So yeah, it's going to be extensive. I cannot wait. It's going to be wonderful. So it's, knock on wood, we're going to launch it in September. So I have a lot to do. I'm very excited. So just stay tuned for that, Carrie, okay? Linda says, what would you suggest as a first shear to get for a beginner groomer? Me. Okay, Linda. Well, I really do. If you feel that an 8-inch shear is scary to you, then get a 7-inch shear. The Kenchi Love series is a wonderful set that's affordable, durable. You're going to have your shears forever, no matter which one. This is the Shinobi. This was a $260 shear. The Kenchi Love are $100 or $110 or less. But you're still going to have them forever unless you drop them on the floor and they just get totally out of whack. But often Kenchi can fix that for you, okay? I don't want you guys to forget, you will always have to have your shears sharpened at some point. That doesn't mean because they go dull, they're ready to be thrown away. Don't ever do that. All shears need to be sharpened because we're using them on hair. So they're never going to maintain sharpness forever. But I send my shears to Kenchi. I really love their sharpening service. And I was able to visit Kenchi in April. And I got a tour of their facility. And of course, my jaw was just dragging behind me. I just felt like I was, you know, in some, just, it was out of this world. You know, I think so much of Kenchi, but to see what goes on behind the scenes there and to have it explained to me and to meet everybody who is doing the work and how they get it done, it was just so really impressive. But anyway, their sharpening service does the best I've ever had. And I've used probably about 6 different services over the years, many of them very well known. But Kenchi by far nails it. Every time I send my shears to them, they come back just like the factory again. So yeah, sometimes we'll drop our shears. They may just be out of whack. Send them to Kenchi. They have a place on their website that you can download the form for sending shears for servicing. That's what we all do. That's what we have to do. You'll never be able to buy a pair of shears and say, I'll never have to get them sharpened. You will. You will have to get them sharpened. Some of the shears that you buy off Amazon that are like $30, $40 and they're cheap, you'll find you give your dog a haircut twice and they're dull. That's because they're made of metal that will not hold a hardness. And also the edge that's put on them is not done with precision tools. So it really is important to buy a decent pair of shears. But to answer your question, since I just totally danced around it, Linda, I would say for you, I would consider getting the Kenchi Love 7 or 8 inch straight shears and one of the blenders. I think that would be great. Or just the straight shear. I think it would be great. All right, so hopefully that helps you. Do we have more questions? Janelle says, mine are Kenchi Love 46 tooth. Oh, 46 tooth? That's the blending shear. Janelle, it's a blending shear like this. My chunker is only 17 teeth, so obviously you can see it's going to take more. So you have a blending shear. Blending shears are wonderful. This is the Jonathan David lightning shear, and I think this is only 46 teeth. I love this shear. It blends beautifully. So maybe you just need to give it a chance, Janelle. You know, I don't know. If you're trimming your little poodle, I think you would like that. The 46 tooth, definitely. Just scrolling here. Okay, Janet. I skip over here. Okay. Janet says, I'm sorry, I get distracted. Janet says, I blended my toy poodle ears, created flyaway hairs. Did I blend too much? You might have. It might have been your technique, Janet. If you're going in and going like this, then you're just thinning the coat. If you are pulling and drag a couple times, take your comb and comb that hair that you just trimmed out and take a look at it. That still looks too full, too thick. Pull and drag down, comb it out until you like it. You may have gone too far, Janet. And if you're using an aggressive shear like this, it would happen quickly. So it depends on how many teeth were on your blending shear that you were using, you know, how quickly it's going to thin and blend. So don't worry, it's going to grow back. It always does. Hi, Jane. Jane says, I just bought the Wall KM10 with my girl, Moki, being reactive to my old clippers. Should I use the low power around her head? Yeah, probably. I would try that. I would also, if she's sensitive to clippers, Jane, try putting some cotton in her ears to dull down the sound a little bit. It might help. But I love the Wall KM10. I want to tell you guys, I ordered the Wall KM cordless. I was hoping it would be here today so I could show it to you. I don't think it's coming till tomorrow. I ordered it from Groomer's Choice. I also noticed, if anybody's looking, I hear all the time, no clippers in stock. Every clipper I looked at on Groomer's Choice was in stock. So they restock. I tell you that all the time, guys. They restock. So I have the KM cordless coming, which is the Wall KM10 in a cordless version. And I'm going to give you all the feedback on that. I can't wait. I couldn't stand it anymore. I had to try it, so I ordered it. So I'm going to be sharing that with you guys in the months to come, and maybe that's something you may be interested in. Debbie says, Amy, any updates on Little Gus? Little Gus had a really good week with us training, and our training is getting better. Our trainer still comes once or twice a week to work with us and kind of critique our work and say, oh, now wait, you're confusing him. Do it this way. He's just been a godsend, really. But so Nathan, love you, buddy. You're the best. Little Gus is doing good. We incorporated place in his life. He has a place board that we have for sitting out on the deck. He has a place board in the house. It's more like a bed. It's a little bit of an elevated cot. It's very comfortable. So when little Gus is walking around looking for trouble, he's learned now to be on place. He would just either be laying on the couch or getting into trouble. So when he's got downtime and not doing anything, he's on place. And that seems to keep him so calm and so assured that he's doing the right thing, because he knows, hey, I'm just hanging out here on place. So that's been wonderful. Yeah, we've learned so much. He's doing good. Absolutely. Thanks for asking, Debbie. All right. Jane says, yes, you got that one. Karen says, oh, where did that go, Karen? Hang on, it just jumped up. Okay. Got it. Oh. Okay. Karen says, Wall has a smaller clipper, 1 inch. I use that around the eyes and the feet pad. The dog doesn't mind it. Yeah, as long as it's not too short. Like I said, sometimes their little mini clippers are only a 30 blade, so you certainly wouldn't use that in the privates. It would be fine to use around the pads of the feet. You got to be careful in the corners of the eyes too. 30 blade can irritate, but if you have just the tiniest, slightest touch around there, you can do it with that. It would be okay. Kayokoka says, can use coconut oil for dry pads. You can, sure. And if the dog licks the coconut oil off, it's okay because it's not going to hurt them. It's fine for them. Coconut oil, I use coconut oil on my skin every day. Angie says, sorry for all the boo-boos. My first time, need help how to groom my Pomsky. I have a video coming out on a Pomsky. Pomsky she actually looks like a miniature husky. She's bigger than most Pomskys are supposed to be. But it's still the same grooming practice that you would do. That's going to be my next video that's launched, hopefully this week. I should be able to get it done. But anyway, you don't trim them. They don't get a haircut. You would use blending shears. I used a lot of blending shears, maybe the straight shears around the feet, and trim the pads of the feet. The rest of it is just blending. It's just beautiful. I really enjoy doing a coat like that. So it's also about the same, Angie, as doing a Pomeranian. And I have 2 videos on my channel about trimming a Pomeranian. One says how to de-shed a Pomeranian, and the other one says trimming a Pomeranian. So all of which are just trimming feet and tidying up. So the rest of it is coat care. Katie says, what is the best type of brush to use on a short-haired breed, like a pit bull, very short coat, Jack Russell? You can see his skin easily through the hair, so he sheds a lot. I like to use the boar bristle brush on my English Bulldog, which is a short-haired breed that sheds. It also helps to encourage oils to naturally balance out the skin and coat, distributes the oils naturally. And he loves the boar bristle brush, but that's the one that I like to use on a very short, like a pit bull or, anything like that with a very short coat. I like the boar bristle brush. They're designed to polish the coat and to actually stimulate good regrowth and help you de-shed at the same time. So hopefully that helps. Katie Marie says, what is the best type of, sorry, I just answered that. Okay. Sandeel says, how do I groom a pup that won't keep still, even tethered on the grooming table? I have several videos on my channel, Sandal. Okay. One of them is called items to keep your dog safe on the grooming table. It also talks about working with the dog with these items. Okay, so that's one. Another good video on my channel that's really good, that helps you with behavioral issues on the grooming table. Just helps the dog to understand what they're supposed to do on the grooming table and feel better about it, is called what's the name of that video? The thumbnail says Doodle Bad Dog, but I'm trying to think of what the title of the video is. It was something like how to groom a difficult dog. No, I don't know. Anyway, that's a good one. All right. Susan says, I've spent 6,000 euro on a course here, and I've learned more from you. Thank you, from Dublin, Ireland. Oh, Susan, you're welcome. I'm going to keep it coming, so hopefully whatever money you spent, we can make up for it and get you the tips that you really need. So I'm just, I know we can spend so much. CMM says, what's the best size Kenchi slicker brush for a schnauzer? This small. For a schnauzer, definitely. This small. It's a nice one. Boar bristle, right? Donna says, I use the boar bristle on short-haired breeds. Short-haired shedding breeds, definitely. Definitely, definitely. Okay. Best video on clipping female privates. Thanks. Okay, Anne says, what's the best video for clipping around the sanitary, the privates? I have a video on my channel that's called how to trim your dog's sanitary, how to do a dog's sanitary trim, something like that. And that shows you the sanitary trim is considered around the privates, around the anus, pads of feet, and the corners of the eyes. So it shows you how to do all those. And it's called How to Give Your Dog a Sanitary Trim, I think it is. But it's on my channel. So go look for it. It should be quite helpful. Katie says, where did you go, Katie? Just, whoops, back. Hold on. Okay, Katie says, how do you sanitize tools, shears, clippers? Good question. Do you usually sanitize between every customer or at the end of the day? I assume every client, every time. Yeah. There's many ways to sanitize. Andis Cool Care is a blade cleaner as well as disinfectant. It's a spray. Rust preventative, it cleans, it lubricates, and it disinfects. I use Andis Cool Care on my scissors too, with a soft paper towel or a soft cloth, and spray that to disinfect. You can also put straight up rubbing alcohol in a spray bottle and spray that on, because it will, what's the word I'm looking for? Not dissolve, but evaporate. Ding, ding, ding. So you put straight up rubbing alcohol in a spray bottle, spray it on your shears, wipe it with a soft cloth. Boom, you're done. That killed everything. Same with your blades. Then don't forget to oil them, and you're fine. So rubbing alcohol is fantastic for killing bad things. You can even spray your tables down with it. You know, you just don't want to get rubbing alcohol near dogs if they had sensitive feet or anything. That would burn, you know. So, but for cleaning, yes. And Andis Cool Care. So those are my top choices. Latricia, how you doing? Latricia says, Amy Lee, Kenchi carries the Scorpion 24-tooth 8-inch. I own one. The Scorpion, yes, the Scorpion 24-tooth. Okay, that's what I was thinking when Janelle was saying about a 24-tooth. I kept thinking, I don't think that's the Love. It's the Scorpion. So thank you, Latricia. I thought you have that one. Katie says, do you close the blender or chunker shears all the way and then pull back? Okay, good question. Or do you close them as you pull back? If it makes sense, it sure does. I close, drag, close, drag, close, drag. And if I'm blending, pull, drag, pull. This is what I do. I hope that helps. Sometimes I look at what I'm doing, I'm like, I'm confusing myself. Okay, Sandra says, I just bought the Scorpion set in curved. Awesome. 46-tooth blender, 8-inch straight shear. What's the difference between the Love and the Scorpion from Kenchi? I believe the Scorpion is a level 2. It's a little bit lighter, if I'm correct. I don't know. I don't sell Kenchi shears, so I can't tell you, but I have some. I don't have a Scorpion shear, but I have touched them at the shows. I think they're a level 2, if I'm correct. So they're lighter, and they're a little, the hardness is a little harder, so they would perform a little differently in your hand. They would feel differently in your hand. So I think that's the difference between the Love and the Scorpion. If I'm wrong, I'm probably going to get a bunch of messages from Kenchi saying, don't talk about our stuff if you don't know what you're talking about. And I wouldn't blame them. Okay, so let me see here. There's Roger and Chaucer. How you guys doing? Latricia says, Amy, thanks for sharing info on the Kenchi Flash. I love mine. Worked perfectly on Spice's pads, legs, and sanitary area. I called them to let them know how happy. Oh, that's awesome. Let them know how happy I am and that you're responsible. Oh, Latricia, thank you for doing that. You guys are great. I'm so glad that you like them. I really would never steer you guys wrong. I wouldn't tell you that I love them if I didn't. MS loves to draw. That's Mary. Haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? She says, do you recommend shears or clippers for the top of a cockapoo with thick hair? Fred's hair goes straight down towards his eyes. Clippers or shears? Well, clippers using the guard comb, and I know you'll have the guard comb. You also have a wall KM10. So I know you have the clippers and you have the guard combs. I would set the length with your guard comb, Mary, and then you do always have to go back and use blending shears just to make it look soft and beautiful. But I always, come forward all the way up the dog with a guard comb from the base of the skull forward to set the length so that I know I have a nice round even head. And you could do that with a 1/2 inch, a 3/8 inch guard comb if he's got a lot of thick hair. Or even, something a little longer and then shorten it up if you're like, nah, I want to take a little more. So definitely use the guard combs first, Mary, and then tidy it up with your blending shears. There's always tidy up work to do too. Okay, Allegris says, what works best for a Coton de Tuilier, the blending or the chunker? The blending shear. Yes, for that coat, I think so for sure. Blending shears, like I said, there's a little bit of a learning curve when you go to use it. Sometimes you'll not have it angled the right way and you'll see marks and then you'll be upset with yourself. So blending shears just tend to produce flawless work. So I would say the blending shears. Aquarius says, have you heard of the numbing powder to place on dogs' nails to help trim the nails? That is only if you quick the nail and cause blood. It's not a numbing powder. I have never heard of a numbing powder for trimming the nails. Quick stop is used if you quick the nail and it stops the bleeding. It's called Steptic. They also use it for men when they shave. If they get a little nick, they have little Steptic sticks that would stop the bleeding. Because sometimes those slightest little nicks can bleed forever. So that is what, I think that's what you're referring to. It is called Quick Stop. There's a couple of different brands that make it. But there's nothing that I'm aware of that will numb the dogs. They don't really feel it unless you cut it too short. So, there's really no need to numb it. Carrie says, you keep talking about heavy shears. I bought the Jason 8-inch straight curved and the 56 tooth blender, and these are these heavy or light? Jason 8? I bought, is it the Kenchi 8 straight? I don't know. I don't know which one it is. If it's Kenchi 8-inch, is it the Love? Is it the Shinobi? My Shinobi is lighter than the Love shears. It depends on which one you bought. So I can't really say for sure. Donna, King of Aliens is Ryder. Ryder has many identities. Yes, King of Aliens is Ryder. Donna and King of Aliens are members, channel members, and we haven't seen you in a while, Donna. I hope I can see you Friday. I'm doing a members session this Friday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. But Ryder is King of Aliens. So, blew your cover there, Ryder. No, not Kenchi. I'm not sure, honey. I don't know of a brand called Jason. I'm not sure what that is. Yes, Janelle. King is Ryder. How about that? You're like, all this time I didn't know? Ha, ha, ha. Yes, you guys are sneaky, aren't you? All right, guys. I am going to let you go. I hope this has been helpful. I hope that I've cleared up some of your questions. I can't clear them all up. That's why we're going to continue to have live from the grooming table in the future. We're going to just continue to take care of our problems. Sometimes we revisit a subject because we need to. So don't worry if we didn't nail it all tonight. Doesn't mean we're not going to nail it down the road. We will. We'll get there. All right. So I will see you guys next Monday. live from the grooming table at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. And to my channel members, I hope to see you all this Friday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. If you can't make it, obviously you can't always make it, I am going to have it on the replay for you that will be posted on my community tab on the YouTube channel. Okay, so I can't wait to see what problems we're going to solve in our members only Zoom session. But at any rate, I'm thankful for every single one of you. And I hope that I add a little bit of value to you and your pets' lives. That's what we do. We do it together. So have a wonderful week. I love you all. And I'm very proud of all of you. I just keep reading all the different things you're doing. You're starting grooming your own dog. You're starting your own grooming business. You're just evolving. You're doing things. You're taking the chance and you're loving it. So good for you guys. You rock. I will see you next Monday, and I will see my members this Friday. Here is a subscriber showdown for you. Have a fantastic week.